Police officers risk their lives and put themselves on the line every day to make sure society stays safe and in order. Sometimes they are attacked. Sometimes their days can be as boring as many of ours. And then sometimes the most unexplainable and bizarre events can take place. Author Lossoler from Reddit's nosleep forum brings us a creepypasta that recounts the bizarre experience of a police officer when he overheard a cop talking about his weirdest case. Also, don't forget to send us your sea monster stories today at darknessprevails.org/submit to hear your story in a future video. And I'd like to thank Nelise S. for donating to our website overhaul at darknessprevails.org/project. Thanks. Now, are you ready for a nightmare? I'm a regular at a local coffee shop chain in my town. Since there's a bigger competing chain just down the block, it's a nice, quiet place to relax. I prefer going as soon as they open in the earliest hours of the morning because the place is always nearly empty. Usually the only other people there at the time are a couple of older cops who come in every now and then, Rick and Bob. We kind of know each other in the sense that we sometimes give a polite smile or nod or hello when we see each other. But I keep to myself and they talk to each other. Sometimes they talk about interesting or crazy incidents that they had, and it can be fun to hear their stories. The same guy that's always at the counter in the mornings will usually disappear into the back after we get coffee and a snack, and so they speak freely and in detail. This morning, though, they seemed a little troubled. They came in a little later than usual, and they did not talk for a little while. Then Bob asked Rick in a hushed tone what happened on the dispatch he got last night. My back was facing them, so I didn't see their faces or anything, but the sound of Rick's voice as he spoke, it convinced me it wasn't made up. I pretended to read the newspaper on my table. A family called in because there was some kid, must have been 12 years old or something, knocked on their door and insisted he was one of their sons. Even said his name, but the real son is there and none of the other kids know who the imitator is. So they tell him to go away and he's just sitting there on the lawn. And he won't leave. They sent me and Joel out there to see what was going on. We get there and there he is, sitting on the grass, crying. He sees us pull up and starts walking over, and his hands are up. He asks me to help him. So I get out and I ask him what he needs help with, and he says that his family doesn't recognize him, and that they aren't letting him in. He doesn't seem like he's on drugs, but he doesn't have a school ID or anything like that on him. I get his name and tell him I'm gonna go talk to his family and sit him in the back of the cruiser, while Joe talks to him more about what's going on. When I get to the door, the people answer it and start telling me all sorts of things about the imitator kid. That he's a stalker because he knows things about their real kid, things only they should know, and all sorts of other things. They tell me he got upset when they asked one of the other kids who was down there, and he said he didn't know him. So then the imitator starts telling them personal things about their kid, and they shut the door on him. The kid that he was imitating is home and says he doesn't know him either. So I ask to see their kid that's being imitated, and they go to the stairs and call for him to come down. I start hearing really loud banging noises from upstairs, and they say he'll be down in a second. While I'm getting details from them on what time this started and everything that was said, I start to see legs coming down the stairs, and they're kind of wobbly and stumbling. I ask if he needs help, and they turn around and ignore my question, saying something like, "There you are, tell the officer everything you can." I look at this kid, and he looks like a doll or something, like a mannequin. His skin is all shiny and solid colored, like it's painted plastic. He walks really weird, like he has rods in his limbs, and every step he takes, his entire upper body kind of wobbles around. His hair looks like a wig, and his eyes are like glass. I'd assume it was some kind of disorder, but it weirded me out a lot because he looked like the kid on the lawn, down to the exact same clothes with rips in the exact same places, and the exact same hairstyle. Everything combined just made him seem like he wasn't human. I was startled, so I just kind of blurted and asked if he was all right, and they acted like they didn't know what I was talking about. The father notes that the kid on the lawn doesn't even look anything like his kid. I asked the doll kid if there's anything he can tell me about this, And then he looks at me and tears start dripping from his eyes. His mouth opens a little, and I start hearing something like several people trying to talk over running water or something. And then it closes, and I hear muffled squishing sounds. The whole family is just looking at him and smiling. I start hearing screaming from my cruiser, and I look back, and it's coming from the kid in the back who apparently saw the doll thing. So I use it as an excuse to book it back down there and get in, and then I just take off. On the way back to the station, the kid in the back seat is just screaming, "What is that thing? It's not me!" You know, as far as I know, CPS is looking into it now. They sat in silence for a while after that, before starting to talk about how cold it was getting outside. I didn't have the appetite to finish my muffin and coffee, and so I threw them away and left. Their story bothered me a lot, and I can't stop thinking about it. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to check out Lossoler's channel via the link in the description. And if you'd like to read the original story or more by Lossoler, that link is in the description as well. More true scary story videos are coming up, so if you want to see your story in a video, be sure to send it to us today at darknessprevails.org/submit. I'm looking for sea monster sightings, Halloween and trick-or-treating stories, and creepy hospital experiences. As always, thanks for watching.